Blessings, my sisters and brothers. It's a pleasure to speak with you once again. I wish to cover a subject that I believe is within the hearts of all who come across this material. Something close, something to be understood about the wanderer, also known to some as an apple. I am pleased to introduce you to George Hunt Williamson, an anthropologist of considerable reputation. He began reporting UFO contact in the early 1950s. George published several books about his contactee experiences, none of which were seriously given credence or consideration by his peers. Typical. The books contain much that some still consider untrue. The UFOnauts had told Williamson that the sun was not a hot, flaming body, but a cool body, and that we had two moons. Imagine that. One a dark moon which was unseen. George was told, moreover, that the moon we already know about had an atmosphere and water. Obviously, none of these statements made sense. But let us back up a bit and look at these statements again, considering not our third density alone, but also those densities which interpenetrate ours. Since most of the UFOnauts are in a reality displaced from ours, it is quite possible that they are experiencing these described conditions. In fact, if the Williamson book, The Saucers Speak, is read keeping the physical and mental variants of these displaced realities in mind, the material makes quite a bit of sense. In The Saucers Speak, Williamson quotes the UFO sources as saying, "To apples we salt, we return." No explanation is given of it here, but in later work, Other Tongues, Other Flesh, George interprets the statement as a promise made to a certain type of individual on Earth. It seems that though the history of Earth, people have been born into our planetary vibration who are not Earth natives. That is, they have not incarnated into the physical from Earth's spiritual densities, but from elsewhere. They are true extraterrestrials in that their previous experience is of places elsewhere in the universe. They are true Earth natives in that they have gone through the process of birth, entering first the spiritual realms of Earth, and from there incarnating into our physical plane just as any Earth entity would do. During the birth process, the apple usually loses the memory of her extraterrestrial past. She is truly of this planet as he enters its physical plane. An apple's purpose in coming to Earth is twofold. First, she hopes to advance their own vibration or thinking by experiencing the strong catalyst of our physical world. It is a sort of trial by fire approach, the chance to advance more rapidly than is possible in other vibrations. The apple hopes that he or she will be able to reawaken the dormant memory of why he or she came to Earth, and so be able to carry out their mission of service to Earthmen by helping to increase their awareness of universal reality. It is not a foregone conclusion that the apple will remember who he or she is and what his or her mission is, but most wanderers have at least a strongly developed tendency towards meditation and contemplation. So that gradually many are indeed able to recapture at least a portion of that memory. There were several statements made in the Saucers Speak that are significant in connection with these wanderers or apples. Seeds may be planted, but they can root and never reach maturity. This means that the people of our outer space knew what was going to develop on Earth. They planted some of their own people here, salted them away like apples. But every seed that is planted or salted away does not grow and reach maturity. It may not root in the ground because of many conditions. Therefore, some of the wanderers now on Earth do not know who they are. They planted some of their own people here, salted them away like apples. But every seed that is planted or salted away does not grow and reach maturity. It may rot in the ground because of many conditions. Therefore, some of the wanderers now on Earth do not know who they are. They are lost in the ways of the Earth, and upon physical death may return to their own worlds, or they may be stuck within the karmatic pattern they have created within this density. Please don't worry, they will be none the worse for their experience, except that their mission will not be accomplished. Space intelligences knew that a certain percentage of the apples would fall by the way. Therefore, enough of them incarnated into Earth bodies to make up for this inevitable deficiency. You have people who have come from other planets who know no such thing as life on other planets, who even may not believe in life on other planets, yet they are in your Earth's atmosphere waiting, living the life, normal, so-called average, everyday, prosaic lives, according to you who are studying. And they still are not receiving. Their teachers are around them. Their high selves know who they are and what their destiny is. Not everyone will succeed. Many will go through the life experience and never be aware and waste or not make gain. But they are neither to be judged nor condemned. The concept of there being entities from other worlds is an intriguing one to many people who indeed have never felt at home on this planet, living the Earth life. In general, apples are said to be poorly suited to the third density vibration and have problems adjusting to the social economic web of our culture. Indeed, often they also have persistent health problems, but they do not appear alien or extraordinary. They are just people. There are many people on Earth that don't really belong here. This doesn't mean that they came here aboard a flying saucer, disembarked, put on a tweed suit, polished up their English language, and moved into the house next door. It does mean, however, that there is a special class or order of beings in the universe that are different, shall we say, from the rest, because the fact that they wander from one world to another, and from one system to another. These people, these entities, however, tend to be set apart by their inherent bias towards the kind of love and brotherhood-oriented message that the Confederation is bringing. That is what it is hoped will happen to the apples, that they will awaken and remember that they are here to give light to planet Earth. There are now many young people in your world who understand our message. They will accept it quickly, for they are of the new age. The Great Awakening, right, is here. Many of our people are in your world now. We have contacted key units because they are teaching this new understanding or Aquarian development now. That is why we come through in this way. Why do we not come through to your government heads or your very educated scientists, education, to your way of thinking? Because they could not change the temperature of the mass consciousness. For they do not believe in thought transference or thought control or thought power. But your key units do. And that is why we contact them primarily. Secondarily, because they are us. Many of them have incarnated purposely from our realms, dimensions, and other planets to do this work, knowing how to do it. We ask you to remember it. We ask you and stimulate you through our mental communication and spiritual education with you to do this. That is why we have concentrated for so many years in teaching these New Age thoughts to those already planted, so they could begin to regulate the temperature of mass consciousness. It takes time. Now is the time for us to show ourselves and to make the project a physical manifestation. So, my fellow apples, bon appetit. The joy of awakening to serving the light of love to all mankind is upon us. To be in service to the garden of earth during the harvest. In love and light of our one infinite Creator, be in peace, my brothers and sisters. Adonai.